In today's show, we're looking at 7 ways to improve your mental health, your well-being and your mindfulness with DJing. DJing, you might say? Late nights? Partying? Loud music? Surely not. Well, I'm here to say, actually yes. And we'll get started when I want you to share your stories about how DJing's helped you with your well-being after this usual 30-second intro with today's live show. I'll see you on the other side. So welcome. Yes, we're talking mental health and DJing today, something we've never talked about before, certainly not given it its own show, but we should have done, and we're putting that right today. But as I said at the beginning, surely, come on, late nights in clubs and loud music and partying and everything that goes with it, you know, hearing, sleep deprivation, surely that's no recipe for mental well-being. Well, look, I think it is, and I think we all know why, right? DJing has moved way past the club. Nowadays, we're in the middle of a project here at Digital DJ Tips called 101 DJs, where we're looking into 101 different ways people DJ that are totally nothing to do with the way that DJing has traditionally been perceived. So of course, as DJing has grown up and as people who are doing it grow up, what it actually is has grown as well. And actually there are lots and lots of ways DJing can help with your well-being, which we're going to explore today. As I said, I'd like you to share your thoughts around this as well. This is a live show. If you're joining us for the first time, we're Digital DJ Tips, the world's leading online DJ school, and we do these shows live so that I can get audience reaction and audience feedback, which comes in via the screen I'm looking at in the corner of my eye here, and I can see lots of people chatting already, which is great. We will get to you, but for the first part of the show today, I want to go through these 7 ways that we think DJing can improve your mental health and your well-being. So the first way, by the way, this isn't just ways it can do it, this is ways you can do it. I'm going to give you advice here, I'm going to give you mind hacks, I'm going to give you tips so you can implement this in your own hobby. So number 1, you should be doing this one anyway, I'm sure you are. Use DJing to alleviate stress. Stress, along with sleep deprivation, is a bad thing. And while DJing was previously associated with sleep deprivation, not a lot of the time nowadays. You get in from work, you're stressed, DJ, get on your decks. It's got to be better than opening a bottle of wine, right? For your health. It just lets that tension slip away as you get into mixing your favorite music. My tip here is to have your gear already set up. Have your gear ready to go so that when you get to your decks at the end of a long day at work, you're not having to set everything up, and because we all know how you feel, you're tired. I was talking to one of our students who visited us here in Gibraltar recently, who was saying, it's very hard when you get home from work and it's tired and it's 9 o'clock and you get the kids to bed and you're like, oh, I've got to set this up now. And look, have it all ready, and then you can just dive on and get going. It's like that old, people don't go to the gym, not because they don't like being at the gym, but they can't be bothered going, right? It's the same kind of thing. Have it all ready to go, you're far more likely to do it. So that's number 1. Number 2, concentrate on creating, not on consuming. So this is a trap that we see people falling into when DJing is their hobby. It doesn't seem to affect pro DJs quite so much. So this is where you get basically gear acquisition syndrome, or GAS, where you can't see past the gear. Now I've got a new piece of DJ gear here, we review new DJ gear. DJ gear is great, DJ gear is fantastic stuff, but it's not what DJing is about. DJing is about what you do with the music you get on that gear. Far better to spend your time on your music and your mixing than to obsess about the gear, because the gear isn't going to get you anywhere as far as well-being, as far as mindfulness, as far as getting into flow state, which we're going to talk about. It's just something, it's just a tool. And yes, hobbyists, we love it. We love our gear. We're not here to tell you not to do that. But I'd say if you want to implement this one in your DJing, make a commitment to yourself not to obsess about your gear. Just get the gear and move on, right? Make that commitment and you'll be better mentally in the long run for it, plus also in your pocket. So number 3, we talked about it just then, we mentioned it just then, flow state. flow state. We've all heard this mentioned, right? Flow state is that state where you are just on the decks, everything's falling into place, you're mixing away, tune after tune after tune, it's all just happening, and you feel the time flying by. That state there, that state of nirvana, right? We get it a lot as kids when we're playing, and it slips away from us a little bit as we get older. DJing can get you into that state quite uniquely. Well, not uniquely, but certainly its blend of what you have to do is a good set of things to help you get into that state, because you've got lots of little creative decisions to make. Not only what track to play next, which happens every couple of minutes, which is one creative decision, but what you're going to do with the tracks, how you're going to mix them, what you're going to do to make the tracks sound more interesting, using all the exciting controls you've got. So DJing can really pull you into and peg you into the here and now. So my tip about flow state really is that people assume that you get in this state, you know, when you're on the decks and the tracks are flying out, your eyes are half closed and your hands are on the faders, and you're like, wow, this is excellent, you know, it's 3 hours into a 6-hour DJ set. That's a great way to get into the DJ flow state. But another way of getting into it is to practice one technique, one tiny technique, over and over and over and over and over again until you get it perfect. So these are micro things, and also the bigger picture of DJing. Try them both. You don't have to only DJ for hours to get into this state. It can just be mastering a little skill and really like, you know, like an artist looking at a leaf for an hour. Look at how you're going to do that transition for an hour. Practice it over and over and over again. You'll become a better DJ for it, and it's a good way of getting in the same state. By the way, if you've just joined us, we're talking about 7 ways to improve your mental health with DJing, your mindfulness, your well-being, your general overall cheer and good nature can all be buoyed up by this amazing hobby of ours. And so it's not all about late nights and partying and playing music too loud, as we are finding out. So the next point is a slightly offbeat one, really, because DJing is meant to be creative. It's this creativity that gets you feeling all, you know, flowed up. But actually, another way of getting yourself properly, you know, mentally engaged with DJing is to use the left side of your brain. The right side of your brain is the kind of creative bit, right? In psychology, it's like the bit that lets you do the, oh, I've got a great idea, and then it happens on the decks and you feel great. The left side of your brain is logic, but there's a lot of logic in DJing. Look at any DJ controller nowadays, right? This is the about to be released Rain Performer. It's full of controls. There's all kinds of stuff on here that you could be using in your DJing. And so get the instruction manual out, read it properly, understand everything in it. You'll become a better DJ without performing a single DJ mix, just by learning what your gear can do. It also is a pushing against this gear acquisition syndrome, which we've already identified can be mentally unhealthy for you. But exercising that side of your brain is just another way that DJing is this kind of all-round good thing for your mental health, because DJing has got so many facets that use different parts of your brain and use different parts of your thinking and engage all these different areas. So we always teach it in the 5 areas of DJing, as I'm sure you know if you're a regular here, which are gear, which is the techie stuff we were just talking about, music, which is collecting the music, the culture that's created the music, learning all about that, but also organizing the music. Left side of the brain again, organizing. Mixing, here's the right hand side of the brain. Performing, here is a whole different set of things which we're about to get onto. And your definition of success, again, we're about to get onto that. This is one of the most exciting things about how DJing is helping people to live fuller, more fulfilled lives. But first, I want to talk about community, because one of the things that causes people mental anguish is, well, introspection. It's looking into yourself a little bit too much, and it can be loneliness and so on. It's just that sense of self disconnected from the rest of the world, right? Now, DJing is a really good antidote for that, because DJing demands an audience. DJing is a team game. You can't learn DJing in your bedroom. You can learn some of the things that DJs do, but until you do it in front of other people in one way or another, you're not really getting involved in it. I'm going to talk about that point as the next point, because what I want to talk about here is more about the people who are with you along the way. In other words, not your audience, but the other DJs. So the problem here is that a lot of people, and sometimes quite rightfully, think that DJs are selfish, are unfriendly, kind of like climb up the ladder and then cut it off beneath them so no one else can follow them, very dismissive of other DJs, ultra competitive. And yes, I'm sure there are people out there like that, but not here. not at Digital DJ Tips. We have got an incredible community of people, and it's for free for you if you want to join in. It's our Global DJ Network Facebook group, and you can join that by just going to Facebook, typing Global DJ Network in, hitting search, and then clicking the group and then ask to join. It's a private group, but it's free. We let everyone in individually to that group, and that means that you're going to find a helpful community that wants you to succeed and that wants you to be part of it, which is an awesome place to be. So don't go on this DJ journey on your own. Come and join in. You don't have to be one of our students. Of course, we have student groups, which are even more valuable for people who are in our courses. But the Global DJ Network is a fantastic, utterly free resource with many, many thousands of DJs in there who are just like you. So look, don't look into yourself too much. Don't feel isolated in this hobby. Come and join. It's free. So now let's move on to number 6, the 6th way that DJing can improve your mental health, which is your audience, right? This is engaging with audiences. Now, in their classic old school way, you definitely didn't feel alone as a DJ when you were DJing as I did, in a sweaty club with 500 people in there. The cigarette smoke's hanging down on the ceiling, the strobe lights are on, the tunes are flying out, and everyone's queuing up to say hello to you. And the togetherness was great. Not sure about the overall health, gotta be honest. But the thing is, now you can engage with an audience on your own terms. Of course, you can still go out and DJ, although there's no smoking in most places now, so even that's healthier. Wear your earplugs and you'll be good. But there's so many other ways of DJing. So what if you don't want to, or you can't for whatever reason, go and play in front of other people? Well, you can still live stream your DJ sets. Live streaming is an accepted way of DJing nowadays. We've had a course on it ever since lockdown. And people are live streaming on Twitch and other platforms, and they're building audiences all over the world who are into the music they're into. They could probably never do this stuff in their towns because they go niche. But also you get to engage with the audience in ways that you can't sometimes do in clubs. I remember in lockdown, big DJs were saying, it's great, I'm actually getting to talk to my crowd. And I can't talk to my crowd at my gigs. It's better than a live gig. So live stream is a great way. So what if you don't want to lean into this real-time thing where you're DJing and getting real feedback? What if that makes you nervous? What if that isn't for you? Well, look, I do encourage you to push against these nerves, because one way DJing can improve your mental health is getting you over the imposter syndrome, getting you over feeling you don't belong here and that this isn't for you and you're not good enough, and conquering those feelings, because they're all ill-founded. Conquering those feelings is very, very good for your well-being. But look, it's not for everyone, I get that. You can do mixtapes. You can create mixtapes, and again, and by mixtapes I mean pre-recorded DJ mixes that you share online. And by doing that, you can share your DJing with the world. You can build an audience for your DJ. No, you're not going to reach 100,000 people, but look, if you can reach 20 people with your first 10 mixtapes, and they become people who look out for you and look out for your next tapes and share them when they come out. And by tapes, again, I just mean recordings. I'm old school. Places like Mixcloud will let you share them, housemixes.com and places like that. You can engage with an audience on your terms from where you are, and you don't have to go out necessarily if it's not for you. So there's lots of ways of engaging with people. And you know what? Another thing I really encourage is just teaching, passing on what you know. Blog about your DJ, make TikTok videos about something you've just learned. Teach someone who you can actually have with you and show them the stuff you're doing and get help from them. It's a great cathartic way to really feel like you're part of this community. It's just to teach, just to give back. So my kind of tip here, I missed out the tip on the last one, right? The last one was when we were talking about being part of the community and joining in. And my tip was, if you're going to be part of the community and you're going to ask the community to do things for you, do something for them first. So one of the mistakes we see people making on our Facebook page is they'll join, then immediately post their mix and they'll say, what do you think of my DJ mix? And they'll wonder why no one's responding to them. Well, you've asked without giving. Much better to go in there, dig around, find where people are posting mixes. Happens on a Friday, by the way, in our community. And then comment on some of their mixes. Listen to them and give them constructive feedback. You do that for 10 people. The first time you post your mix, you're going to get a very different reaction. Karma, right? And so my tip on engaging with your audience is just, if you haven't live streamed, if you haven't done a DJ mix, or indeed if you haven't played a gig out, pick one of these things that scares you a little bit and do it anyway. Try something new that will grow you as a DJ, and it will grow your confidence, and you'll become mentally far more cool with this stuff. And the final one I've got is, DJing can be a route into one of the most stimulating, and psychologists say this actually stops you getting old. This is how good it is, what I'm about to say. One of the most stimulating ways of engaging with anything creative, which is making music. DJing might just be a Trojan horse into making music, because you don't need to be able to play an instrument anymore. You don't need to be able to understand music theory and chords and all that stuff anymore. Of course these things help, of course they help. But it might be the thing that triggers you finally learning these things. But the point is that with modern production software, with modern ways of doing this, you can have your software tell you which are the right notes and which notes aren't going to work in the current project you're working on. You can get whole sets of samples and loops and sounds that work together, so it becomes like a Lego building project where you're just putting things in and making it sound how you want it to. There's so many helpful tools to get you onto the path of making music. And honestly, if you're a DJ, you already know what works because you DJ, and you already have a wider music knowledge than most people because you DJ. These are two really good things to take into music production. So my 7th way to improve your mental health with DJing is go beyond DJing, have a go at making music. The best way to start, if you've never done it before and you honestly think you can't, is to make bootlegs, mashups and re-edits, that kind of thing, where you start with the music of someone else. And by the way, if you're already getting two people's songs on the decks and you're putting the a cappella of this one over the instrumental of this one, then you're doing something, adding a few effects. Trust me, you are already starting to produce. That's what it's all about. So have a go, lean into it, try music production, and try just remixing other people's stuff to get you started. Of course, we've got a course on that with Layback Luke's bootlegs, mashups and re-edits. So go take a look at that course. So here's our 7 things, 7 ways to improve your mental health. Yes, you really can with DJing. Use it to alleviate stress. Concentrate on creating rather than consuming, right? Move past the gear. Prioritize the flow state. Use the left side of your brain too. Do all the things that you need to do, like learning your gear, organizing your music. It all counts, which will mean you're getting the kind of all-round brain exercise that will increase your well-being. Lean into the community we've got here. It's for free, it's for you. Engage on your terms with the outside world. You don't have to go and play gigs anymore. You can do live streams and you can do mixtapes and so on. And think about making music. Think about this as a gateway into making music, which is another really proven way of improving your mental health. Right, that's what I've got for you today. I keep glancing over here, and the reason I keep glancing over here is it's my favorite bit of the show, which is chatting about this with you, our fantastic audience. So I'm actually going to do something which I haven't done before, but I've been really annoyed, not really annoyed, I've been slightly, I'll explain. We have notes over there. I've not found a way around this yet, by the way. We have notes over there, which is like on a big, it's like an auto cue. So I've got these 7 points, so I don't forget where I'm at. But also here, I've got all your comments. And I'm getting old, I'm in my 50s, so I need a different pair of glasses to read that than I need to read that. So I just went and changed them then. So anyway, letting you into something there. Right, so now I can read this properly. I've been kind of like this. Oh yeah, and so-and-so says this, which is not good, not a good look. So, all right, let's go. Hello to Kesha, hello to Mixmaster John Roback, and to Vlog Analog in Arizona. Hello to Driss K, hello to Ian, who says it's Tuesday. It's not, it's Tuesday. I just said it's not. I'm losing track of time as well, Ian. Easy DJ says, AKA I'm off for a mix now. Well, that's awesome to hear. Hello, Mike. Hello, DJ Enzo Mixes. Hello to Java Man Sanchez and Mo and Papa D, and to Catherine Catsgroove. So Paul says, hello, I hope you're well. I suffer with my mental health and my music is my go-to to relieve stress, etc. Great to hear that. DJ Enzo says, just got your book, Phil. I will give it a good read. I'm leaning under there to grab a copy of the book. There it is. This is our new book, Rock the Dance Floor, which has just come out and is an Amazon official bestseller, which we're very proud of. So you go take a look at that on Amazon. If you want to know about these 5 steps that we teach, these gear, music, mixing, performing and success, it's all in here. It's actually on page, I think it's on page 3 in the new version. No, page 4. There we go. There they all are. Yeah, so thank you. I'm glad you got the book and I'm glad you're enjoying that. Right, so my gear is just inside my front door. It's the tidiest part of the house. So thank you for that, Easy DJ. So you're talking about having it all ready so that you can start mixing as soon as you get in. A musician who puts their instrument in their case at home is not a musician who will improve, says Don on the same point. Thank you for sharing that, Don. A lot of you saying your neighbours are a problem, but you're mixing headphones. Thank you for that conversation I can see going on there. A lot of you giving thumbs up for this. So Mike says, Phil, as you know, I have mental health issues. I only upload to Mixcloud, but I love doing it because I find music is the best therapy. That's exactly what we're saying, isn't it? You know, if you don't want to DJ out, upload your mixes to Mixcloud or somewhere like that. So I just love creating mixes that just I listen to, says Kesha. I think this is a great idea. A lot of people do that. A lot of you do that. A lot of you just make mixes for your own well-being. So that's perfectly valid, perfectly valid. Right, so big discussion going on about mixing in headphones. I love it when people just take over the chat and clear up their own stuff as we're going along. That's what our community is all about. So I use RipX to create original edits from stems, and I'm finding it very stimulating. Yep, this is when we're talking about using our production, kind of hidden production skills that DJing gives us. Tom says, I found the duty, in inverted commas, of learning all the various genres of music to be exactly that, a chore. I like how you said become a creator, not a consumer, as I feel like one way to get past the chore of learning about the latest, say, reggaeton songs, etc., is to create the sets people want and then spend the majority of my time focusing on the music I love, truly creating beautiful sets in my preferred style. Funnily enough, Tom, I just literally, so some of you will be in it. Some of you will know we have a subscription program for people who are serious about their DJing, who've moved past taking courses and want kind of everything. It's called Digital DJ Lab, and I've just made a lesson today on exactly this, on how to approach musical genres. So in our teaching, in our book, it's very simple. It's, you know, we cover genres and we cover how important it is to organize your genres, but we keep it simple. But for a lot of people, they want to go past that. And as Tom says, it can become a chore. So I've just made a lesson that's actually going into Digital DJ Lab in the next few days, which is about kind of advanced thinking on genres and styles and subgenres and so on, in order to make it less of a chore and more of something that you look forward to, Tom. So if you are a Digital DJ Lab person, look out for that one. M System says, I try to have a mix to help me de-stress after work until I'm too tired, but it's the endless scrolling through tracks online, trying to filter out stuff that resonates me is what brings me down. Again, it's all in here. We've got a method called the playlist pyramid that stops this bringing you down. Has anyone noticed the Rain Performer, says Doc. Yes, I think a few people have noticed this. We're in the middle of reviewing it now. It should be ready for you to consume on the site very soon. It goes against the gear thing I was talking about, doesn't it? Move past the gear. But look, as long as you buy a controller every 5 years and then spend the rest of your time working, hey, buy a good one. Right, DJ says Sparks, whenever things weren't going right in my life, I would always go home, and when I get home from work, get on my ones and twos, ease the pain. Ones and twos being, of course, turntables for people who are from the younger generation. These are the ones and twos. This is number one and this is number two, because that has got number one written above it and that's got number two written above it on a 2-channel mixer. It's actually 2 and 3 on a Pioneer 4-channel mixer. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, great. Thank you, DJ Sir Sparks. So this one is from Kesha, who says, I feel like I don't belong here because my mixes are not that great, but I'm doing it. You do belong here, Kesha, more than anyone. Don't let yourself believe that. Trust me. Right. I don't think I've ever seen or heard anyone talking about mental health in the DJ world, says Sergio. Good on you. Where did this come from? This came from an article I've written for an online website, actually. Some people asked me to write an article for them on exactly this, on DJing and mental health. And I suddenly thought, do you know what? We haven't talked about it on Digital DJ Tips. So that is where it came from. I fire up at home either my controller or my turntables, says Jack on Facebook, at least once a weeknight instead of watching TV. And those are my happiest nights of the week. And apparently it's Men's Mental Health Month, says the Ruckus. This is a great topic for discussion, and also women, of course. Just because it's Men's Mental Health Month, I'm being inclusive here. So everyone's mental health all the time. That's what I say. Anyway, thank you, the Ruckus. So Apostolis says, hi, Phil. I'm going to flip the discussion. One thing I find stressful and perhaps bad for mental health is all the engagement needed with social media. How do you recommend dealing with that pressure? Well, why do you need the engagement with social media? Ask yourself that question first. And then do the amount that makes sense for you. So look, an introvert is not going to spend all their time in public meeting people, right? An introvert knows that they can't lock themselves away, and they know how much they can deal with before that feeling comes and they want to get out of there again. How long is it for you on social media? Because it won't be zero. So however much time you've got, half an hour a week or whatever, spend that time and then get out of there. I would say, as we tell all our students, divide it into 3 things. Posting about yourself, which some people find hard. Sharing stuff other people have done that you think's cool, which is a lot easier for some people, but do those 2 things as your first and second of your thirds of your time. And then engaging with the people who've engaged with you, or reaching out to people you like and starting off the conversation. Because if you do those 3 things and you've only got half an hour a week, 10 minutes, put 1 post up about you, 10 minutes, share something cool you've seen someone else do, and 10 minutes replying to a couple of comments or maybe commenting on something that you've seen that's cool and starting a conversation. Done, get out of there, come back a week later. Look, that's not going to make you David Guetta as far as your social media presence is concerned, but it's a lot better than nothing. And so I think it's just cutting the cloth to fit, to be honest, Apostolis. And I totally get it. I'm no fan of social media. I have a team here which take care of that because I know I'd rather not do it, and that's the truth. So Jason says, always great advice, Phil. Many will find this information really relative to their well-being. I am almost 55 and music kept me surprisingly young in many ways, and it gets you through dark times. Oh God, I know that. I always tell a story of a time that I was really upset, really in a bad mood, really just like, I was just angry about, I can't even remember what. And I lived in a shared house with a few friends. And I went up to my bedroom where my decks were, I was about 23 at the time, and I got on my decks, and instead of mixing my house music, which I was into and playing in the clubs at the moment, I just got the songs that I wanted to hear. I was playing indie, I was playing rock, I was playing dance music, I was playing old pop songs, I was playing power ballads. I was just playing the music that I had to play to stop myself tumbling over the edge. And my friend Karen, who I shared the house with, came up to me a few days later and said, you know, when you were DJing the other day, I really liked, because she was, you know, just a punter. Karen was not a DJ, she didn't think like us. She said, when you were DJing the other day, I thought it was really good, much better than what you normally do. And the penny dropped, that there was emotion in what I was doing. I've always remembered that. So look, DJing can really be cathartic, especially if you let yourself go and don't try and live up to any expectations and that kind of thing. So thank you for that comment, Jason. And thank you for dragging that story out of me, which I haven't told for a long time. I've got a joke for you. Let's lighten it up with a joke. This is an old, I'm terrible at telling jokes, by the way, so I'll try my hardest. This is an old joke. A child says to its parent, when I'm an adult, I want to be a DJ. And the parent looks at the child and says, you can't be an adult and a DJ. You're going to have to choose. And that kind of sums up DJing old school, right? Because it was the most unhealthy, non-long-term, you know, live fast, die young. When I was in my 20s, there was no such thing as wellness and DJ, right? It just wasn't. But we survived. And we're here now. And as I say, it's moved past that now. It really has. So I'm glad to have this conversation. Jay says, I'm passionate about mental health and I'm a mental health first aider. Music is definitely the way to help. It can have a major impact on your mood. Thank you for that. Jamie says, never be afraid to make mistakes, as it's how you perform after the mistake rather than recovering out of the mistake. So yes, that's true. It's what you do next and how you deal with it that counts. You're never going to drive a racing car fast around a track without skidding every now and then or hitting the curb. But it's part of the journey. And so DJing is not a game of perfection. DJing is a game of getting to where you want to go and learning to take the knocks. I think that's right. Tim says, I am also a mental health first aider and I use music as a relaxing tool. Mixmaster John says, when I'm feeling stressed, music is my stress relief. So many people on this one as well. And so many people talking about mixing in headphones, which is the great B topic that's come up in this whole conversation, which I love. I'm a lab member. Indeed I am, says Tom, and I will look forward to the genre lesson that you're adding to it. I'm literally just editing it now. finding pretty pictures to represent all the main genres. It's literally what I was doing when I took a break to come and do this show. I'm going through a tough time, says Symphony, and DJing and planning sets, creating good mixes really helps. Beatrice says, when I'm DJing, I'm living in the moment, and that's good for my mental health. I also always record my mixes, and when I'm happy with the result, it's even better for my mental health. Awesome. Jay says, also listening to Rat Pack. Oh, Rat Pack. Now there's a rave from the grave. When I'm feeling moody, always helps. So much energy in their sets. Indeed, there is. Mental health affects everyone in different ways, says Stevie B. To be stressed, anxiety, depression, ADHD, also OCD, all these affect people at all levels and in different ways too, yeah. And the one thing I was worried about presenting this lesson was, what's the word I'm looking for? Trivializing this whole topic, right? Because as you say, there's so many layers and there's so many levels and there's so many ways that this can affect you. But I also think it does affect everyone. I don't think anyone gets through life without mental health issues, right? So we're all allowed to talk about it. Thank you for pointing that out, Stevie. Ever since the unfortunate passing of Avicii, says Mixmaster G, mental health has been an important topic in the dance and DJ world as well. Indeed it has. Thank you for sharing that. Right, people, I'm going to leave it there today. Thank you very much for joining us. We have an article that contains our 7 ways to improve your mental health with DJing, which will be going live in the next few days, and you'll find it on Digital DJ Tips. But if you're watching this and you're watching it on the Facebook or YouTube feed, the comments are open underneath. Please let us know how DJing has affected and hopefully helped your mental health, or if it's got you into a hole that you've got to get out of, which means there might be lessons for other people. And we'd love to hear from you. But meanwhile, from me, Phil, here in the studio, until next time, get good, get out there, make the moments, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye.